Welcome back to Cards and Comics. Today I'm going to be talking about what is the greatest baseball autograph set of the 1990s. And this is part one of a two-part series. So first we must ask ourselves, what makes a set the greatest? Now for autograph sets, the two criteria you start out with is A, for this category of pack pooled autographs, they have to come from a pack. They can't be a send-in or some other form of getting the autograph, like in person. And they have to be on card. And the 90s is great because, in general, I think everything was on card. So that what makes the 90 autograph so cool. Now, there's two autograph set types in the 90s. There was the one per pack autograph sets and the one per box. And the reason why I'm making a distinction between the two sets is one, the one per pack autograph sets are usually much larger, and they don't contain as high of a concentration of good cards as the one per box sets. And the one per box sets generally have much better checklist, but much harder to get. So you only got one per box versus the one per pack. And so to me, they're very different in how they were distributed and the content of those sets. So we're going to separate those two into a different video. So today's video is about the one per pack autograph sets of the 90s. Now, for my criteria, and this is me and my criteria, so yours might be different, that I want my autograph sets to contain both modern stars at the time and Hall of Fame players at that time. So basically, vintage Hall of Fame players and modern players in the same set. And if I was going to benchmark, the player selection at that time of the 90s of who I would have loved to seen in the sets, it would have been on the Hall of Fame side, it would have been Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, and Nolan Ryan. Even though Nolan Ryan had still sort of played, it was at the end of his career, and it would have been great to see a player like Nolan Ryan in a 90s set in an autograph form. For modern players who were just starting and really getting into their career in the 90s, it would have been Ken Griffey Jr., Derek Jeter, and Frank Thomas would be the three players I would want to be in the set. So if a set was perfect, it would have all six of these players in it. And unfortunately, that never occurred. But there are some sets that got a lot of it right, and we'll talk about that. Now, percentage of Hall of Famers is one of the criteria, meaning of all the cards in the set, how many of them had either Hall of Famers at the time or future Hall of Famers who became inducted after they retired in the 90s, or potentially still could be inducted in the Hall of Fame, like maybe a Todd Helton or just recently Scott Rowland. Now, the attractiveness of the set design is another criteria. And even though there's players in the set that maybe will never make the Hall of Fame, they were star players, or they might be subject to, let's say, the steroid issue. So like a Barry Bonds, a Roger Clemens, and Alex Rodriguez were big-time stars in the 90s, but they may never make the Hall of Fame, but their cards still have value. So if they're in the sets, they're still valuable. So what are the contenders? What are the sets of the 90s that I would say contend for the best of the best set of all time? Now, it's going to be these 5 sets. It's going to be 1996 Leaf Signature Series, 1997 and 98 Donruss Signature, 1999 Upper Deck SP Signature Edition, and 1999 Fleer Sports Illustrated Greats of the Game. And each one of these sets are different in how they're constructed, the players, and just overall, all of these sets are pretty different, except maybe the 97 and 98 Donruss Signature. So we're going to start here with the 96 Leaf set. Now, this is the granddaddy of them all in terms of timing. It's the set that kind of started it all. Now, there's 23 Hall of Famers in the set, which seems like a lot, but it's one of the biggest sets ever made in terms of just pure autograph content. The base set has 471 different player autographs, which is enormous. Now, as far as potential future Hall of Famers, again, I'm going to exclude the steroid players, and if they get in, this number goes up quite a bit. but it's two, which is Curt Schilling and Andrew Jones. And as far as the 6 players I put as the, kind of the players that I viewed to be most relevant for the player selection, there is Frank Thomas and Derek Jeter, so 2 of the 3 modern players. However, there's no Hall of Fame or vintage players in this set. So in that case, it strikes out. Design-wise, it's above average. It looks good. It reminds me of the 1986 Topps Mini League Leaders with the kind of white-out or cloudy design. Again, on-card autos, and there are parallels in the set. And again, my review is only on the base auto set, not the gold or silver versions, just the ones that were considered to be base. And again, this was a 1 per pack autograph set, and it came out as kind of the cheapest set ever made in this era, or in this area of 1 per pack autographs. It's less than $10 a pack. Now, the set is enormous, so it's very tough to pull any specific player. Again, a majority of the good players were short printed in this set, but you did have players like Pedro Martinez, Mariano Rivera, that were produced in the same amount as other players, not short prints. Now, there is a lot of fun in this set in terms of building team sets and having players who may have only had 1 autograph card ever made of them because of the size of the set. So there is that factor built in, and it contains tons of stars from that era that maybe aren't Hall of Famers. Again, the steroid guys like A-Rod and Palmeiro, but Andy Pettitte, Delgado, Kenny Lofton, which were stars of that era, which a lot of people still collect. And again, it was released in 2 series, with the extended series having the better player selection and shorter amount of players available. So you have a higher percentage to hit a good player in the extended series. And if you actually go look at box prices, the extended series is worth a lot more, or is a lot more valuable than the first series. So 96 Leaf Signature, again, I gave the design a 7 out of 10. And overall, to me, it's a great start to this idea of 1 per pack autographs. So the next set to follow this up was 97 Donruss Signature. And it had half the amount of Hall of Famers, and it only has 118 cards. So it's a lot less of a print run. So you think you should be able to get more Hall of Famers per pack, but with only 12 and only 1 potential future Hall of Famer in Todd Helton, it's not a set that's really loaded with star A-level Hall of Famers. In fact, none of the modern or Hall of Fame players that I would look for exist in the set, and the most valuable card is the David Ortiz autograph rookie card. So design-wise, it's just a little bit above average. It's pretty bland, compared to some other designs of other sets. It's not terrible, but it's just not that compelling. So it's to me just slightly above average. Again, we went from $9.99 a pack to $14.99, so $5 more a pack for this set. And again, 118 cards versus 471. It was released in 2 series, and this is something I didn't know, that some cards are available in the A and B series, which is what those letters mean. If you go to Baseball Cardpedia, you'll see that. So some cards are available in both series, some are only 1. There's a Frank Thomas card in the set, but it's a fake auto, a facsimile autograph. And most of the big names like Jeter and Maddox only had autographs in the Millennial and Century parallel sets, and Frank Thomas had only an autograph in the Notable Nickname set, which is a much harder to get insert. So again, this set had, or the product itself had a lot of good names, but none were really available, or not many were available in the base set. And again, there's some minor stars in the set, such as the steroid players of Ramirez and Palmeiro, but Andres Galarraga, Bartolo Colon, but it's not a ton. The 96 set actually had more. And again, if you look at even in here, you can see that a lot of the good Hall of Fame players are still short printed to much lower levels in the 96 set, like the Barry Larkin is 150 and the Edgar Martinez is out of 150 as well. So again, I think it's definitely a step down from the 96 set just because of the limited amount of good players. If there is a good player in the set, it's very hard to get. Now the 98 set even gets worse, in my opinion. There's only 8 Hall of Famers in that set, 2 future Hall of Famers in Beltre and Schilling. And if you look at it, Greg Maddux and Mariano Rivera are the 2 chase autos in the base set, in my opinion. And again, no Hall of Fame autographs, and again, none of the 3 big modern autographs I'd be looking for. Now, design-wise, this set, I gave it an 8, but I could have easily gave it a 9. I think it is very attractive. And for people who put the set together or buy cards in the set, they definitely look for the Millennial and Century Mark autographs, like for Jeter, Gwen, Ripken, Maddux, because they're beautiful looking cards, and I agree. But again, this set review and this ranking was based on the base cards, the regular cards you should be able to get out of the pack, not the harder to get parallels. And in that case, again, just like the 97 set, the majority of the big names are in the parallels, not in the base set. So you can't get Ripken, you can't get Gwen in the base set. You can get Maddux, but it's a short print. Now, and it definitely has very few minor stars as well. In fact, look at the minor stars we're highlighting here. It's Will Clark, Palmeiro, and Kerry Wood. Again, compared to 96, even 97, the 96 Leaf or 97 Donner set, that is not great in terms of minor stars to help kind of at least offset some cost. And again, a box of this product costs about $900. So if you look at that, you'll realize that unless you pull an insert auto, you're not going to really have any chance of getting any value back in a product like this, but it's great design. And I do feel like a lot of people just like owning these autos because of that good design. And I agree with them, but from a just overall, amount of good players, it's just very low. Now moving on to the 99 Upper Deck SP Signature Edition. This set has 28 Hall of Famers out of 150 total autographs, and it includes 5 potential future Hall of Famers. So to me, this is a really strong player selection comparatively to the prior sets we looked at. So it has more Hall of Famers than any of the other sets combined, or not combined, but just any of the other sets. And when you add in the 5 future potential Hall of Famers, maybe, you'll see that, maybe this set could have 30 plus Hall of Famers in it. Now, another important distinction from the set is that it definitely has the best mix of modern and Hall of Fame players. So it includes Griffey and Thomas, which is huge for modern collectors. So it doesn't have a Jeter, which would have been great, but it has Ken Griffey Jr. and Frank Thomas in one set, and they're beautiful looking cards. It also includes Nolan Ryan, which was on my list, and Stan Musial, which is a huge, Hall of Famer in my opinion, a player that's very undervalued. And but even if you look at that, outside of that, there's still a lot of great players in the set. And again, design-wise, it's 10 out of 10. It's one of the most beautiful autograph sets ever made. Love the design. I think a lot of people just like the base set. I know a lot of people just put together the non-autograph set just because the cards themselves are so nice. And again, $14.99 a pack, 12 packs per box. So price-wise, very similar to 97, 98 Donruss. And 90 cards were part of the gold set. So there was a parallel version, gold version, numbered to 50. So again, you can get the Griffey or the Griffey number to 50. They both existed. Now, again, it's the only set of the 90s to really contain one per pack autos with both Hall of Famers and modern players. So that's a big point in its favor, is that it had both. And if you look at the Hall of Fame checklist here, it's really neat. You've got, Edgar Martinez, Eddie Matthews, Greg Maddux, Frank Thomas, Ken Griffey Jr., Harmon Killebrew, Mariano Rivera, Ivan Rodriguez, Nolan Ryan, Willie Stargell, Stan Musial, Tony Gwynn, Tom Seaver, Vladimir Guerrero, Willie McCovey. So just tons of good names that you would want to pull. And even though it may not pay for the box, what they're currently valued today, it's still fun to pull those type of players. So for me, it's a really fun product to build, and I do have quite a few autographs from the set, just because I think they look great and they're fun to collect. Now, there's also many non-Hall of Fame steroid era players such as Barry Bonds, A-Rod, Mo Vaughn, Albert Bell, and Manny Ramirez, that if they somehow get into the Hall of Fame, that will make this set have a lot more potential Hall of Famers. So again, this set has a lot of potential future if you were to put it together. And again, no more Garcia Pars in the set. So there's a lot of non-Hall of Fame star players in this set. So it's a very good set in terms of just having a lot of balance between Hall of Famers, modern players, and stars, and tons of these steroid era players that may potentially be future Hall of Famers. We'll see. We don't know if that's going to happen, but there's at least potential there. Now, the last set I'm going to talk about is the one per pack Sports Illustrated Greats auto set. Now, this is a complete reversal of all the other sets. It only contains Hall of Fame players, no modern players at all. Now, 27 of the 80 cards is Hall of Fame players, so a good ratio. Almost as many Hall of Fame players as the SP set. Now, player selection is very good. You've got Willie Mays, you've got Nolan Ryan, you've got Stan Musial. You don't have Hank Aaron. You've almost were 3 for 3 there. Now, the biggest issue with this set is design. In some cases, the cards look nice, but they use, in a lot of cases, Sports Illustrated covers. And you can just see from the Willie Mays, that's Willie Mays kind of shouting in a headshot with a lot of print on the side. And it doesn't have a traditional card photograph designs. It doesn't look like a normal card because it's a cover of a magazine. So that kind of cuts down on some of the appeal of the cards. You also have the giant white space for them to sign their autograph, which can work, but unfortunately, this set is plagued by very streaky autographs. And so even if you can find a Willie Mays auto, chances are it's going to be streaky or faded. So that hurts the value of this set. Now there's 3 different Reggie Jackson cards with different inscriptions, but the great thing about this set is that, unlike other sets prior, where most of the good players were short prints, even Willie Mays in the set appears to not be short printed, meaning that it's just as likely that you could pull the Willie Mays card as Gaylord Perry. And that doesn't really happen very often in these kind of sets. So from that, I give it a +1. And there are cards in the set that have nice photos of Sports Illustrated covers. So it's not always a bad photo, but there are some in there. And again, you add that with a streaky auto, and it doesn't really look as nice as other sets. So that's why, to me, the design definitely is lacking. There's no modern cards in this, or modern players in this set. So for my criteria, that does hurt this set as well. So if I was going to give the winner for the best designed set of the one per pack autograph sets, it would be, to me, very easily the Upper Deck SP Signature Edition set from 1999. Again, it's a mix of Hall of Famers, modern players, tons of future Hall of Fame potential, and just tons of minor stars. So this set is a lot of fun to look at, put together, And so to me, this is one of those sets that if you were to ever build it, it has a lot of potential now and in the future. Now, to me, the runner-up would be this set right here, the Illustrated Sports Illustrated Greats, just because of the great Hall of Fame checklist. And as far as the other modern set that I would put on the list, it would be 96 Leaf. To me, it has a great player selection. It's just a really big set, and it has tons of autographs that just aren't really worth anything. But it's fun if you're a player or a set collector, player collector, or team collector. So, but to me, clearly the winner is 99 Upper Deck SP Signature Edition. It's by far, to me, again, combining design, player selection, in both modern and vintage Hall of Famer. So there it is, guys. That's my part one video of the best of the 90s one per pack autograph set in baseball. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with me? Did I forget a set? Is there something missing? Or do you not agree? And put your comments and the video below. I will enjoy reading them and responding to them. And I'll see you next time on Cards and Comics. Bye.